I even thought, man, I think I should just give up at some point. But all of that was fear. And I think it's just something that every founder goes through. The fear of, will I ever make it? Is ever come to life,
Yeah.
I think what the biggest challenge is fear to start. When you start, things start to open up. So I think the power of people alone, very important. If you're listening, stop that entire excuse of you have no money. You have the money. You have the network. So use that to get you to the money. If starting or doing anything doesn't take your values away from or who you are away from, then just do it. You never know where it will take you. Be a risk taker. Be bold. The world has no space for cowards.
Yeah.
We Drive It podcast, the journey of the young CEOs with Brody Jolly. Welcome back to We Drive It podcast. Today we have an incredible guest with us, someone who's making waves across East Africa. You know why I'm using East Africa?
Thank you.
Yes, East Africa. And she's doing a lot of amazing things. Before I continue, now we have known for each other for some time. Yes. And the way I've been seeing your journey, I'm like, where is this madam going? Where is she getting this energy? But guys, what I can say is she's a social impact entrepreneur and a storyteller and a true champion of change. Yeah, and she's doing a lot. I've just mentioned a little. Maybe I will give her a chance to mention, because when I got her bio, I'm like, okay, why are you shaking this Kampala? But what I can say, welcome, and I love to use Hannah. I don't want to use the first name.
Okay.
Yes, she's the founder of Art4Change Uganda. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited and humbled to be here on your podcast. Yeah, it means I'm doing something to be here.
Exactly. And I think in my list of the guests, you're among the first people. But I put you the last.
Why?
Do you know, I thought you first. I had the other list of the guests.
Yeah.
But I was like, this one will be closing the year. But also to shock you, it have been some months I've not releasing episodes because I wanted to evaluate myself. Episode I've done with the others, young people doing incredible thing in the community. Yeah. So I was like, I need to have a break and check myself first and listen one by one. And then I will prepare something good. Better. And this is better now with Hannah.
Thank you. But I just have to say you've been doing a great job.
Okay.
And we look up to you. Thank you so much for giving us the young founders and the young entrepreneurs a platform to grow. It's really commendable.
Wow, that's really amazing. So Anna, you are wearing a lot of hats, and you are not only the founder of Art4Change Uganda, but also your multimedia storyteller and you're a student soon graduating. Yes, in journalism and communication. So let's start to the beginning. What inspired you to start creating this Art4Change Uganda?
I've always been a diehard for the arts. Anything that involves art, whether it's music, painting, drawing, writing, speaking, all these different things that constitute of art. I've always been a diehard for that.
Okay.
I'll also tell you something I've never shared before.
Okay.
When it comes to academics, I'm not the number one.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were number one in the class.
That only happened later when I joined my graduating school. Because there I was doing something I'm passionate about. But originally, it was hard for me to completely succeed when it came to academics. So I started to find an alternative. If I can't be number one in class, where can I be number one in? Arts. So I began building the arts. So I've always been a lover for the arts, but I think what really inspired me to start Art4Change was one time when I was after university class, I moved down to Wandegea. You know Wandegea?
Yeah.
And I found this amazing artist, Quizera, who was drawing this beautiful art mural. And this mural was on the wall. And it was not even it wasn't even an advert. It was an advert for, I think, Total. And like everybody was just standing and looking at this beautiful art piece. So I was like, what are these guys looking at? So I started looking at the art piece. And I was like, wow. So people were so amazed. I was so amazed. And I was like, if we can all be amazed by this art piece that is just an advert, how much more impact can we do if we have many more of these art pieces that actually speak change and development all over the city? So that's what started off as Art4Change. The original name was Murals for Change. We're just focusing on arts and murals and all that. So that was the first time I said, I need to do something about this.
Okay.
Then I buried the idea.
Okay, now that's where I want you to tap in more.
I buried the idea. Why? I don't even know. Sometimes you have such big dreams. Our purpose is so high and you don't know if you're ready to actually pursue the dream. Have you ever felt like you have this desire, but you're so scared?
Yeah, that's true. I've faced that too.
Yeah.
You find we get a lot of ideas. Something is popping all the time, but sometimes you feel see idea is quite a big and you get scared. What will people think?
I know.
Will I make it? Okay.
So those kinds of thoughts. So I buried it. And then later, 2023, there is a call casting for Media Challenge Initiative for the Content Catalyst program. And I was like, I need to join this program.
Yeah.
So in the application process, they're like, in order for you to go through for this program, you need to have an idea that we can help you implement and bring to life. So that is how I said, Art4Change.
Yeah.
This might be something that has been put in like my fate, right? So I used my idea of Art4Change to apply. I went through the application process, and now that's where the implementation during the Content Catalyst program actually started. They were like, listen up, Hannah, you have this idea, but you need to get out of your comfort zone and bring it to life.
I think also this reminds me, even me, there is certain application came out and I was applying. But when I found the companies looking for such people, I was a little bit scared because I knew a lot of people be applying.
I know.
And they're telling us, give us the idea of the project you want to do. But they're giving you two options. Either draw it, visualize it and draw it, or otherwise do a short clip of 1 minute and 30 seconds.
I love that these days they're not telling us to write, because writing you can pretend.
Exactly.
But when they tell you, look in the camera and tell us what you want to like bring to life or draw it, now there you're like, serious.
It's serious.
Yeah.
So me on my side, I was like, okay, if I use 1 minute to 30 seconds, I may not pour everything. What if I just draw it? And I just draw it, tap and I pass through. But when I was
and it's not like you're a talented artist. I don't think for him, you are like a talented artist.
I'm not. I think they saw there's something within this drawing. But also when we entered in training of the fellowship, they say get out of your comfort zone.
So when I joined the program, now they're like, all right, we need to start helping you guys look at the reality of what it takes for you to take on this project of yours and bring it to life. I was like, okay. I was excited for the fellowship, but I didn't know it was that serious. And that's why I always encourage people to take on, like, apply for these different training programs, different fellowships, because they help you open like your mind to something new that you had no idea that was even locked up like inside of you. So we began planning the concept note, the systems thinking, the visualizing, the step-by-step processes. That's when I realized that being a founder is not easy. It's not easy.
I think also now you being a founder is not easy. People think like you can have idea and bring in a table and everything will be okay. Whatever you start as a beginning, it's never easy.
I will tell you that it was during that process I cried.
Really? You cried?
You see me,
but Hannah, I don't cry.
I cry. Nobody even knows I cry.
Yes.
They think even when I'm sad, I'm just laughing. With my teeth out. But that process was tough. That is even how, because the original idea was murals for change. But now I come into this program and I actually start to understand that it can't just be murals for change. It's bigger than just murals. Right? So it changed into Art4Change.
Yes.
So we began looking at the systems thinking, what the vision looked like, who the target audience was, how do I start? And I was in my final year. I'm juggling this with school. So it was taking a toll on me. I even thought, man, I think I should just give up at some point. But all of that was fear. And I think it's just something that every founder goes through, the fear of, will I ever make it, ever come to life, you know? So I thank God I had a whole support system. And it's one of the most important things that I think help very many young, successful people. Because let me tell you, as a young person, I don't have money.
That's true.
I don't have money.
Yeah.
Anything financial, I would not say I have 50 billion in my account. So what do I have? I have my network of people, my family. That's the support I have. I have my own personal network as an individual. I have my social media. So how can I be able, I now started to think, how can I be able to leverage these connections I have to bring the first project of Art4Change to life? So that was Tusome. Tusome was the very
Now
first
don't go
project.
there. Yeah, don't go there.
Yeah.
I think people need to learn, is young people especially, that they need to know or to understand money is very important.
It is important.
Very, very important.
It is important.
But in some other angle of it, having people who support you to push your dream, to push your idea, that's money also.
That is also money.
It's money.
And I think there are so many people who are always procrastinating doing things. I have met so many young people who come in my DMs and say, Hannah, I want to start doing public speaking. I want to start radio, I want to start TV, I want to start these different things. And I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. Why don't you start today?
Yeah.
Start now.
Now, yeah.
And they're like, but I don't have money. And I'm like, that's the biggest excuse you can ever give. Don't have money? Yet you're a whole human being?
Yeah.
With friends? With family?
Yeah.
With networks? In your classroom alone? And you're saying you don't have, that's the biggest excuse.
Yeah.
I think what the biggest challenge is fear to start. When you start, things start to open up. Oh, Hannah, I actually have this. Can I contribute for you? I actually have this. Can we work together and collaborate? Can we partner together and collaborate? Now, did I have 100 million in my bank account for that to happen?
No.
I did not.
Yeah.
So I think the power of people alone, very important.
It's very important.
Yeah. Guys, if you're listening, stop that entire excuse of you have no money. You have the money. You have the network. So use that to get you to the money.
Wow. This is really amazing, guys. I'm just enjoying this conversation with Hannah here. So you have done some incredible projects, like Tusome. That's why I stopped here. It's like stop from there.
Yes.
And where communities transform waste into heart. I saw some pictures the day you launched it. Can you tell us more about that?
So Tusome was my baby. It is Art4Change's young little baby. It was my first baby, my first project. And even before the whole visualizing and actual work that happened, I went through a lot of stages and processes in building the idea. Sometimes you have wild ideas, but you ask yourself, is this really what the community needs?
That's true.
Sometimes we have ideas, we want to do all these big things, but at the end of the day, is this really what the people want? So I started to build and make the idea better for Tusome. So I got to collaborate with a school called Jollyland School, because what we're trying to do is to tap into the younger generation, because the older generation is already phasing out. So it's the young generation that actually have the impact and the change. So we got to work with this school. It's actually a primary school. We got them to participate in a town garbage cleanup. We're collecting all the recyclable objects, from polythene to plastic to metal to all these different things. So we had a community pickup day, and then we started to use these recyclable garbage to make an art piece, a very big talking art piece. So Tusome is native Luganda, so it means to educate.
Yeah, in Swahili, it's a Tusome.
Tusome, oh, really?
It's like you say Tusome,
yes,
for us you say Tusome.
Tusome.
Yes.
That's interesting. So because in that community, they have a lot of educational challenges. We had a whole survey with some of the leaders in that community. So we got to find out that, okay, this is the actual problem. So how can we be able to solve it with art? So we got to just transform these different plastics and metals into a talking art. I wish you saw the children. Oh my God.
Maybe tell us, how was the kid feeling in that moment?
I've never seen such excited children in my life.
Wow.
They were so excited when we explained to them what Tusome is. even the parents used to call the teachers at school and say, but what is this Tusome? What is this whole educate thing? What is this all about? And we told the children, listen, we can't be able to pick all the garbage for the art piece from the community. At home, if you have any garbage that we can be able to use for this art piece, bring. So we had a collection point in the school. The children brought in all the plastic, all from their homes.
Wow.
And I think that is the ripple effect we're looking for. The amount of people that got to learn through those children, that number one, it's important to prioritize education, but also number two, it's important for you to recycle all these different things that are polluting our environment. So that is the ripple effect we're looking for.
Wow.
It was not only the kids that got to find out, but also the teachers. Now the teachers at home also have kids, have a family. Now even the kids who have taken this information home have families who are bigger. Get that entire ripple effect. So that's what we're looking for. So we taught them, we collaborated with a local artist from that same community. He taught all of us, we all got to learn, how do we cut this? How do we now use this to make a braid? How do we do? That's so many different
So you
things.
had people who are professional in terms of that, who are supporting you guys.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because for me, I'm really skilled and trained when it comes to the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
The art, I do it because I love it, right? But I'm not exactly a professional. So I had to work with professionals who are good at that in order to bring out the results we wanted.
Wow. Yeah, that's really incredible.
I was concentrating heavily on the storytelling and learning more about the art with these professionals and the children. And that's how Tusome came to life. We created over 100 Tusome ambassadors.
100.
100.
That's a huge number.
100. I think I can call my very first baby.
Wow. So I think when you are counting in this year, the biggest achievement, the milestone, I think that's the first one.
Yes, creating 100 Tusome /educate ambassadors.
Wow. I think Tusome is such an innovation approach, which I can say it's a great to bring a bridge between environmental awareness and education awareness, as you said. Yes. But now when we put aside Art4Change, you also host
your space
on UBC TV. And I think for the first time I saw you starting it, there's some other very serious topics that I think you need to have the facts and the real information.
Exactly.
Where you work with young people and anti-corruption initiatives, how did that opportunity comes about?
I tell you that one of my biggest superpowers is social media. Even before we began the podcast, I was telling you.
Yes, social media.
Sometimes my friends get sick of me because they're like, okay, Hannah, how did you do this? And I tell them, social media. They're like, oh, Hannah, you're killing us. How do I do this? And I'm like, social media. Like, they don't understand the power of social media. Like the way I understand the power of social media.
Of social media.
Back in 2021, no, 2021, I think it was 2020 coming in 2021.
Yeah.
I was in my senior 6 vacation waiting for my university list to come out. And I said, I think I should begin a YouTube channel, because I don't know. At that time, I was bored and I was like, I want to start joining the media industry. How do I do that? I was like, I'm sure they're going to ask me for experience. And I don't have that experience. I just come out of high school, boarding. I'm like, how about I begin my YouTube channel? So that if they ask me for experience, I'm like, that is my experience.
Yes, yeah.
I have 1 year experience in doing YouTube.
Okay.
I had the fakest phone. An Infinix Note 7 at that. So no hate to them.
Okay.
At that point, that's what I could afford. So I began shooting these videos about personal development and career. I've always been very passionate about that. And even currently, I am doing a lot of mentorship programs. I'm mentoring some young people, speaking on career development and all these different things. So young Hannah then began to do these videos. Now I would push them through my friends. This is even before MCI. I pushed them through my friends. My friends even helped me hit 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, so I kept doing this video. Now, and I didn't know that there was somebody really important, a connector that was watching my videos.
Really?
I used to get like 100 views. And that's why I keep telling people that if doesn't take anything away from, just do it. Sometimes we are scared to do things, but if it's not going to take away your value, just do the thing. So I didn't know that in those 190, 70 views, there was an important connector. That was, I get a call, 2023. I get a call called Mr. William Odoch from UBC.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, is this Hannah Arinaitwe? I'm like, yes. William from UBC TV. I've looked at some of your work on YouTube. I think what you're talking about and your value aligns with what we're trying to do at the station at the moment. It aligns with the TV show we're trying to do at the station. I was like, am I dreaming? I cut off the phone. I was like, this is a dream.
Why did you cut it?
I don't know. I was shocked.
Okay.
The dude calls again. I'm like, so it's not a dream. Okay. I pick up the phone. So what happened is that they had an original host for the show, but they got an opportunity somewhere else. So he gets information from a daughter. I think I went to the same church with. She's been in like my circle. It's like, you know what? There's actually this girl I know called Hannah. Does really amazing work. Here is her YouTube channel. Have a look at it. So that's what sold. And boom, that's how I got to work with the office of the IGG.
Wow.
And we began working on this show. The very first episode, I even laugh when I look at it. It was so bad. So that was the starting point. We began to grow. Now we're on season 2. We are getting partners, for the show. So I was like, wow, this is actually a very big opportunity. But it was a challenge. I had to read.
You read a lot of things to prepare yourself?
Yes, because you can't look foolish on the show.
Exactly.
This is national television.
Yeah.
You can't look foolish on TV. People will laugh at you.
Exactly.
You have to read. You have to make the research.
And there's a lot of people who are expertise in such things.
Exactly.
And you are just coming there.
It was a challenge, but I have a fantastic team. I have a great producer that I work with. He's really good at guiding me.
Okay.
And success can never be a one-man thing.
Yeah.
It's always a team. Even for Art4Change to reach today, it's team effort, not just me. It's a whole team that's part of the growth. So that's how I got onto TV.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really amazing. So youth empowerment is very important, especially in fighting against corruption. And as a participant in the program of Yali now, we're coming there. Yeah, so now we come back to Yali and the Tero Noah Education Change Makers program. Wow. And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just few days, I think few days back, you got your certificate, and it was really amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, as the social media is powerful for you.
Social media is powerful. Everything,
I find it there. So how those experiences shaped you as a leader?
I will say that being part of Yali is now my second achievement for this year. Okay. First being Art4Change launching. Second being the Yali Trevor Noah Educational Change Makers program. It was my second time applying for Yali.
Okay.
The first time I applied, I got rejected. So I was like, should I really try again? I tried the second time, failed. I said, Jesus.
Really?
The third time, I saw an application and I said, I'm not going to try this out. So a friend of mine called Faith, who was my co-host at Power FM at the time, said, Hannah, you have to try this. Art4Change needs to have some very experienced, thought-through leader. Try again. I tried again. I went through, and it was my first time on an aeroplane, and it was a very interesting experience. I'll tell you that for sure. So free. I went to Nairobi, Kenya.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was in a room with over 100 African young leaders from all over the world. My eyes, I thought I could see. I couldn't see.
But you're wearing glasses.
And I'm wearing glasses, which is funny. I was in the room with some big, founders. Tech founders.
Ooh.
Serious social enterprise founders. People who were in the game for a while. Woo.
You were a beginner.
I was a beginner, yeah. I think I was among the youngest people in that entire team.
Really?
Yeah. And I just kept learning. The whole time my eyes were like this. I was just like, oh my God, what is this? What is that? So you mean I can't even do it like that? Yeah. So it was a learning experience. I enjoyed the entire experience. And I think I can now boldly say I have friends all over Africa.
Oh, yeah. I'm jealous now.
Networks all over Africa.
Yeah. So now we go back to Terevola Noah, Education Change Maker. So tell us, how did you get that opportunity also?
Yali for the first time. Okay, there is Yali, right? Young African Leaders program. Then there is the Trevor Noah Educational Changemakers program that is based in South Africa. So because they wanted to infiltrate the East African sphere of young leaders, especially in the education sector, they decided to collaborate with Yali. So it was a Yali and Trevor Noah Educational Changemakers program. So it was a bit combined. As much as we're getting leadership training, we're also getting guidance in relation to how to create impact in the education sector.
Yes.
So it was a combination of that, and I can say it was really worth it. I came back a completely new person. That is now why, as Art4Change, I'm now working on this. I'm currently working on an eco playground project with a certain school called Chisima High. Primary and high school, yes. This current collaboration I'm working on is actually from the Yali and Trevor Noah program. Connected there and decided to come back and do something. I would really advise, if you're tuning in, please do apply for these different opportunities. You don't know where your blessing comes from.
Exactly.
Sometimes we think, we'll just go to university and we'll go through and that is it. But there's so much you're missing out. There's so much you're missing out to learn, to open your eyes, to experience. You know?
And I think also maybe to add to the listener, especially young people, that you keep applying, but remember there is a moment you won't pass through. So don't give up. Yeah, you see, like Hannah, you said you applied once, second, and the third you're like, I don't want, but someone came up and like give you push, encourage you, and they say you apply it again. So me, I'll be honest with you, I've applied many as I can. When you apply, don't think of negative part of it.
Think of the positive.
So keep applying. Even if you never get a good answer out of that application, you keep applying. One day, one of 1,000 applications of apply, you may find 2 or 3 they may pass through. So my advice to the young people, don't give up. So now we are speaking the impact. You are such a role model for other young Africans. So what advice would you give to some who wants to make difference but feel unsure of where to start? And you're in the back conversation, you have said a lot of people come to you and they want advice. I want to start this. So now I think this is a time these young people to listen to you. It can be helpful.
If you want to start fearing, whether you want to start in regards to your career or your idea or building a product or building a service, I will tell you this: if starting or doing anything doesn't take your values away from or who you are away from, then just do it.
Just do it.
If it takes nothing from who you are as an individual, just do it. You never know where it will take you. Be a risk taker. Be bold. The world has no space for cowards. The world has, nobody will even give you a second glance if you're quiet, if you don't raise up your hand, if you're not at the front of the line, if you're not proactive. The world is not going to come and look for you and be like, hey, we're looking for this. Nobody cares about you unless you start to be intentional about putting yourself out there. So put yourself out there. Be bold. Be proactive. Somebody once said that, but Hannah, I'm an introvert. And I said, that's an excuse. Me, I'm friends with introverts. They're introverts, but also extremely productive. Fantastic founders, fantastic creatives and creators. Do not use that example as an excuse. Whether you're an extrovert, whether you're an introvert, it does not matter. You can still use your strength in that persona you're in to do something great for you.
That's really incredible. I hope young people, you've picked that. When I posted the post about the podcast, I got like 2 or 3. So one question was saying, how do you manage in terms of social media expertise? Like there's really a lot of abuse, a lot of words, a lot of bad words, a lot of things happening in social media. So how do you manage it? Because this is the power you are calling that is pushing you to achieve a lot of things.
Oh my God. Like for me, first of all, when you decide to put yourself on social media, be open for both positive and negative. If you know you can't handle that too, you rather not start. But if you actively want to start, be ready for both the positive and the negative. Most times you'll get the positive effect of being on social media, but even the negative will come out. But I'll give you just 2 examples. Every time it's my birthday and I post and say, today I'm turning 23, I always get over like 200 new followers. Why? Under the comment section, people are always arguing about whether I am 23 or if I'm 50 years old.
Really?
So I get bullied heavily about things like my age. I think sometimes they're thinking,
it's not a true.
How can it be, you know?
Yeah.
So I always get like 200. So you see, I get offended, obviously, by all the different comments. But at the same time, I've also been able to do what? To gain 200 followers.
Yeah.
Even when I'm having like releasing content in regards to, let's say, any of the work I'm doing, there's a particular follower that has made it their sole duty to comment about my weight. I'm talking about serious things here.
Really?
But there's about somebody who is like, for them, every time I post, their number one comment is, Hannah, you're too big.
Ooh.
Yes. So, all these things happen on a daily. But like I've said, if you decide to put yourself out there, be open. You'll get the positive, you'll get the negative. But obviously the positive will outweigh the negative.
But you start the journey in social media, don't think of anything. You receive a lot of messages that will discourage you.
Exactly.
Don't care about it because you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing,
Focus on that.
focus on that. So I have another question. But Anna, are you not getting tired? Are you not getting tired all the time posting about what you're doing? Like you're giving us your all life.
I'm really laughing because
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot. Someone said, Hannah, it's not really, why do you always like show us like everything you're doing and all this? But now you see, by the time you're asking me that, it means that you actually know what I'm doing. Most of my gigs, jobs, collaborations, partnerships have come through that. There is nobody in my circle who doesn't know what I'm doing. So even though I'm not in a certain space or office, I will be the topic of the conversation, especially if you're talking about things that I do. If you're in my circle and you are somewhere else and they're asking about, do you know anybody who is doing radio or TV? I'll be the first person to pop in your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Because I have consistently thrown it in your face. Morning, evening, night.
I think I don't know where did you get such idea because this is a very creative idea.
It is.
I'm telling you, especially in social media. If you're consistent all the time, you're popping. For sure, me, if I'm sitting, someone is asking me, do you know any person is dealing with education? I'm like, Hannah.
Exactly. Anyone in Hannah.
Yeah.
Anyone in public speaking? Hannah. And that's how I've been able to get so many. I'm now going into also moderation and emceeing. Most of those things I've gotten them through LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yes. Now, how would they have known? How would they have known that I can do this if I was not sharing on LinkedIn? How would Daniela, who recommended me for that TV job, known that I can do TV if I was not throwing my YouTube channel in?
Yeah. So the last question, most of the ladies who are in the social media, they do makeup smart, looking for expensive clothes and to be like extremely smart to be in the social media and those videos. But you're totally different.
These questions are serious.
Yeah, they're very serious.
Well, does that mean that I'm not smart? For me, like when
I think this guy, the way I understand him, was like, you're smart. There are especially these influencers who are doing social media. They go for a makeup first. Someone is very different.
Like even how I didn't come with my makeup right now, right?
Yes. You are natural. Let me use natural. Yeah.
First of all, one of the reasons why is because I'm currently working with a brand called Isha Beauty.
I saw it,
they are
madam.
working on my skin. I've always had very terrible skin.
Yeah.
So one of the things they have recommended for me is not to put on makeup. But even regardless of that, I rarely... Now for me, I'm a person who goes process by process. Yeah, I go process by process. I've always gotten like some people commenting and they're like, but Hannah, why have you worn that same t-shirt today?
What?
Yes, I get those comments all the time. Hannah, why are you wearing? I've seen you wearing this dress somewhere else. You're a star. You should not be repeating clothes. And so all those things come with that. But I'm real, guys. I'm not a celebrity.
Yes.
And there's nothing that I'm doing that I've never wanted to like portray that kind of... I've always wanted to portray a person that wants you to better yourself in your career. That is why you'll never hear me saying I am a celebrity.
Yeah.
You'll never even hear people saying, we are introducing Hannah, a celeb is in the house. No. They are saying a multimedia storyteller is in the house. I'm just being myself. Like whoever you see now, that is the Hannah. That's what I can't afford.
Yeah. So Anna, before we wind up, could you share what is next for Art4Change Uganda?
Art4Change.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So right now, now we are working with Chisima schools in building an eco playground.
Okay.
These children at Chisima school do not have any play materials, right? And in order to have effective education, a child must be able to not only learn the knowledge, but also be able to to express it out, even like in other ways, like through play, through role play, all these different things. So all that can be done in a playground. Now, because a normal playground costs a lot of money. For example, I was doing research, and one of the plastic movable slides that was being on sale was going for like 20 million.
Ooh.
So this school can't afford a 20 million slide.
Yeah.
So what we are doing is to make it affordable for them, collecting these different recyclable objects and creating an eco playground for them. We are going to make an eco slide, an eco everything. But we're also partnering with Radiant Smile this Christmas. Okay. We are collaborating with them on a Christmas outreach happening on the 7th. Yeah, on the 7th of December. Yeah, we are just spreading some love to this orphanage in Ginger. And as Art4Change, we are fully sponsoring any play, happy energy on that particular day. So we're also excited to collaborate with them on that. And we're also looking in the future, next year, we'll also be working on an event called Art4Change. Yes, you see how we have paint and sip, paint, and I've attended them because I'm scaling my area. But we're going to have Art4Change, where we're going to create art, sell this art in order to make a sustainable investment in the future projects we're going to be creating. Okay. So be expected. If you're somebody who likes, having fun and going out, prepare yourself next year.
Williana, thank you so much. That sounded exciting, and well-being, look out for that. And thank you again, Anna, for joining us today and sharing your incredible journey. I think your journey is still a lot, but today we are breaking from here. Maybe we shall look for part 2 with Hannah. And it is really inspiring to see you all that way. You are making a difference. So before we close up, anything for these young people, especially these upcoming young young entrepreneurs, business owner, or young CEOs? Any advice for them?
Hey, my final advice will be just do
it. Wow. Thank you to all our listeners for tuning in We Drive It podcast. If you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to subscribe in our free pod. Just click the subscribe to get more episodes, but also follow us in social media. Hannah, mention your social media.
At Arinaitwe Hannah everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X.
Okay.
Everywhere I'm there.
Okay. That's really amazing. But remember, all this work is under MCI Radio. Please, you can leave the comments. All in all, stay tuned for more inspiration story. Until next time, keep driving change. Bye-bye.